Hey Tim, how you doing? Actually, this one's about getting older. Today I took out my Alfa. I had the top down. Anything above 33 degrees means the frost isn't going to hold my top down to the car, so I look really cool, literally. Anyway, today's my birthday, big 43, so I ended up figuring I'll goof off today. Took the car down for a drive and I decided to go to a place called Morehead City, which is about an hour south. I had fun, goofed off, and just as I was approaching a friend of mine's house to return a book to her that I borrowed around Christmas, I was driving up her street and all of a sudden I saw her son right at the end of the street, and he just waved me down. 12-year-old kid named Alex, and he had two friends in tow, and he came up and he just said, "Wow, you're driving your car." He said, "I love this car." He said, "Can I show my friends?" And I was thinking, you know, this is kind of nice to have something that kids think's pretty cool. So I stopped the car, pulled into their driveway, and the first thing the kids did is they went right to the radio. And they were looking, and Alex is pointing at the radio, and his other two 12-year-old friends were looking at it, and they're going, "Wow, you were serious." And they were saying, "There's a line that you actually tune the radio, and you twirl that knob, seriously." And they were trying to tune it in and out of reception. And I said to myself, the things that fascinate kids. And then they said, "Oh, come here, come look at this." And they were looking at the steering wheel, and you know, you have 3 little buttons for your horns. And they were just like, "No way." And each one of them had to try it and stuff. And they said, "How old is this thing? It's got to be like 100 years old." I said, "No." I said, "It's 1982. And they all kind of looked, and they were like, as if to say they were pondering life, if it existed back then. And I thought to myself, well, I said, "How old do you think it is?" And they said, "Well, it's definitely probably about the time in Nintendo," one of them said. And I said, "We didn't have video games." And let me tell you, all 3 kids looked at me like a German shepherd with their heads tilted as if they were hearing a high-pitched sound that they couldn't identify. And I just started laughing. I said, "No, these cars, they don't have any electronics, nothing fancy." Anyway, long story short, they said, "Can you give us a ride?" They all jumped in the car, and I drove maybe, what, 100 feet to his mom's driveway. She was laughing as all the kids are piled in the car. And that was pretty much it for my birthday. But as soon as I was leaving, he says, he said, "What kind of mileage does that car get?" And I said, "It's not the mileage, it's the fact that it looks cool." I said, "It gets about 20. And he says, "Huh." I said, "No wonder old people didn't go far places back then." And I was like, when I heard old people, I said, "You know something, man?" I said, "I remember when we were living on Jesse and we were looking at some of the oldest cars in the neighborhood and thinking, I remember thinking, your Pinto was, wow, that was a cool car." But I tell you, I said, kids today are so used to electronics and stuff. I feel 43, but I'll tell you, I love driving a 30-year-old car. It's the best thing I've ever bought. Anyway, that's it. Just thought I'd give you a holler. Love your video on Miss Aggie, the lunch lady. I have no idea who she is or if it's a spoof, but if it is, thought it was pretty great, man. Talk to you later. Ciao.